Good day to you, Willard Shepard at Willard Shepard Law and Media, and welcome to In the Know on the Miami Community News Network. We're certainly glad to have you with us today, and we are very honored to have a woman who is sitting to my right, who is making history in Miami-Dade County, Ms. Charise Morgan, who is the new president of the Miami-Dade Bar Association, the first African-American woman to hold that position. And we are actually on the road. I drug her all the way from Miami-Dade County here to Orlando, Florida, where we are on site with all the other lawyers across the state of Florida at the Florida Bar Conference and Convention. And it's delighted. We want to have a big applause for you for your new accomplishment. And just a big picture, tell us about the mission this year and the direction that you want to take our association to help others in our community.
Excellent. First, Willard, thank you so much for having me here. It's absolutely a pleasure. I've enjoyed watching you before on television. It's great to be here at the Florida Bar Convention as well. This year for the Miami-Dade Bar, one of our big focuses is growth. We want to grow the bar. We want to bring many of the lawyers that are in the Miami-Dade community back into the bar and back into the fold of being able to represent the lawyers in the Miami-Dade County and, of course, the people in Miami-Dade County. So growth is one of the big focuses. The other is community service. Community service has always been sort of the landmark of my legal career to date, and it's something that I want to bring to the bar. I want to see the bar get back outside, get back into the community, be able to represent and know the people that we see every day.
Now, of course, those of us who are members that are looking to you for direction that you're providing, in my practice, personal injury practice from my time flying airplanes in the military and those things, trying to help as many people, and my partner, Brett Rifkin, who's been doing maritime law for 4 decades, we have specialties in those areas. But in our association, we have people that can help almost anyone that needs assistance. So tell us about that.
Absolutely. Miami-Dade Bar represents attorneys, about 20,000 attorneys throughout Miami-Dade County that are in a variety of areas in practice. So everything from personal injury, arbitration, mediation. I'm staff counsel for an insurance company. There's so much that you can do, and there's so much that the lawyers of the Miami-Dade County Bar do. So anytime we have someone from the public who reaches out who needs a lawyer in a particular field, we're able to provide that because there's so many lawyers, there's so many different practice areas, niche areas, big areas, government, everything. We sort of had a readily available resource with the Miami-Dade Bar from which we can pull attorneys.
What do you say to people, and while we love going into the minutia of the law for people seeing this, at home, they may say, I have an issue. Like, especially, I get so many calls now, people that live in a condominium association or an HOA association, and something has gone awry, but they feel basically lost, that they have no direction, and in many cases, they simply can't afford an attorney. I would imagine that you would still encourage them not to be afraid to reach out.
Isn't that frustrating, the fact that the law touches aspects of every single person's life, and yet there's so many people who simply don't have the privilege, the benefit, and sometimes the money in order to have a law background, have a legal background, be able to reach out to someone that they know who is an attorney. We tell those people, absolutely, reach out to the Miami-Dade Bar. Give us the opportunity to provide someone who can represent you, who can help you. Not every case turns into a lawsuit, and sometimes people just need guidance or information about something that's happening. In the example that you provided with the condo or homeowners association, we have attorneys who do that. We have attorneys who can just give guidance and information if someone from the public needs that. And a lot of times it's that information that they're able to take and make a better decision that, again, doesn't always turn into a lawsuit. But so much of that comes from having that legal background and expertise that you can get from a lawyer. And Miami-Dade Bar is happy to provide those lawyers to provide that information and expertise.
I always tell people to tone down what they think that they want to do about it. I want to go to court. I want to get Ms. Morgan to get in there and get them, and those things. And I'm a person that always tries to work things out way in advance. You mentioned that, saying that, not a lot of things turn into a lawsuit. I think the general public feels many times, I'm going to sue that company, I'm going to sue that person. But there are many things that can be done prior to that I think in unison we hope would be worked out. Just kind of from your practice, and you're an expert in this area from all of your trial work over the years, just kind of talk to the general public about the things that can be done so you hopefully don't have to go to court.
We like to say, remember the ultimate focus here is what you're hoping to achieve. What is it that you want to happen? If there's something specific that you need fixed in your home, vehicle, if something it is you want changed, that's the ultimate focus. So a lawsuit is one way to get that specific item done, but what other ways? Sometimes it's just a letter. It's a letter, and sometimes it's a letter from an attorney that can tell someone, here's the problem, you're the person able to provide the solution to the problem, here's why you need to do it. And sometimes the threat of the lawsuit, if it comes to that, is sufficient in order to get some people moving. Other times it's simply an issue of notice. Someone doesn't know that there's a leaky pipe in your house that they need to fix. Bringing it to the attention, putting it in writing, documenting it, at least gets the process going. And sometimes there's citizens who need help with providing that notice to the party that's going to get the action resolved.
I would say, as I told you walking down the hallway, I'm an evidence-based person. You know, I never put anything on TV at NBC unless I had the evidence. And now in my legal life, I never come forward with something that I don't have the proper evidence for. Talk to people about, even in things that they can resolve themselves, about making sure they have proper documentation. We're entering the storm season already.
Yeah.
Even in South Florida, over the last week, we've seen significant flooding in areas and things where people will have insurance claims. Just in the big picture, talk about those types of things, of documenting items so that you can make a valid claim.
Absolutely. Documentation, evidence is critical. Something that people never think about is that when there's nothing wrong, you don't think to take pictures of your house, of your vehicle, of your belongings, but that's something that you can easily do. Sort of make a plan for it. Every 6 months, walk around, take photos of the outside, the inside of your home, take photos of your vehicle, take photos of your belongings. If you're a person who buys things often but doesn't keep receipts, that's something also valuable. Maybe scan the receipts and save them digitally and keep them, because it's something where, God forbid, the worst case scenario happened, you're able to have that documentation. And sort of when you talk to people on the phone, it doesn't hurt to follow up with an email for documentation. Messages can be deleted, can be saved, can be changed. It's sort of something to think about as you go along every day in your typical life, documenting, saving. If it's important, if it's worth it, have somewhere that you save it. You get these important documents when you buy a home or a condo. And it's important to make sure they're safe somewhere and they're stored, but God forbid they're damaged. These are things that you should scan, put where you can access digitally. Again, sort of always planning for the worst case scenario.
In terms of that and moving forward, and we were talking about a portion of the legal process, depositions, these types of things, and technology now. What are your thoughts about the Bar Association and embracing this type of technology? Everybody hears everything about AI. You know, the Supreme Court has given all of us with a license a directive that you can use these as a tool, but your bar license number means that you have actually vetted this with your own eyes and done your own research. Talk about that aspect of where we're moving in terms of the law and how rapidly this is changing and the potential dangers in that.
Yeah, certainly. So we see AI taking over in a lot of different industries, and the legal industry is no exception. And just like you said, it's a tool, it's a helpful, it's absolutely not a crutch. It's certainly not going to replace your own research and your own, putting your own eyes on that paper and being able to say and justify what's written there. So AI we've seen take over in a lot of areas in the legal industry. Depositions is one example, and there's so much more that it can do. It's an area we're braving into cautiously. We know that the best thing for the legal practice is a legal mind, legal experience, legal expertise, and practice. But when you see these tools come, they're so incredibly helpful that'll make your practice easier, that make your depositions smoother, that make you better able to appear in court, have witnesses appear remotely. You can't turn down the opportunity. It just makes you faster, it makes you better. So it's something that we're growing with, we're watching. Sadly, there's industries within the legal community that haven't advanced as far as others, but that we're hopeful that is going to do it. At the Miami-Dade Bar, we absolutely have begun incorporating AI in our, not just our messaging, sort of our contact that goes out to our members. And for members who are further along and more advanced, we encourage them and invite them to come and do CLEs for our attorneys. We all want to get caught up to speed. We all want to be the best at our practice to be able to best represent our clients. And the way to do that is to stay ahead and advanced on these new type of technologies.
Yeah, I said to you, and I saw our public defender in Miami-Dade County, Carlos Martinez and Cindy Guerra, his right-hand person, down the hallway a short time ago, and actually the Prevail platform that's providing the technical support for this program today. Mr. Martinez is using, Gordon Weeks is using, other public defenders are using, and it's really making a difference not only in the efficiency in their office, but the law enforcement officers, they don't have to drive to the courthouse to do that. And this remote part of our profession is rapidly moving forward. I want to get your thoughts. I was at a conference not long ago, and there was a law practice that is completely remote. They don't even have an office, and they are serving their clients that way. I know that's kind of an extreme end, but what do you think we learned from the pandemic that we can embrace and members of our bar can use going forward?
Absolutely. Most days, the overwhelming majority of days, I work from home. So I'm almost completely remote. I go into the office occasionally when I have trial prep matters.
So now I know how to find you.
But from the pandemic, look what we saw, that we can be at a deposition on the other side of the state and at the same time appear for a hearing that same afternoon locally. It's given us such an incredible reach. And that's one of the best things I think that have come from the pandemic. I'm happy to have that ability to say that you can take clients now all over the state. If you need to be in person for something, that's also something to prioritize. We also make that critical. There's some judges who still want to see the attorneys who are trying the case. And there's still a lot of attorneys who best believe that the way to do a trial is in person, where you can physically touch the evidence, hand it to the jury, let the jury look at it, etc. More often than not, for smaller matters, including evidentiary hearings, you have that ability to do everything remotely, where you are most comfortable, where you don't have to completely rearrange your schedule so that you can best be available for your clients. That's the greatest thing that we've taken from the pandemic, in my opinion. It gives us a relief from commuting. It takes away some of the frustration that comes from having to rush all over town and be in multiple places at once, when you can find one location, sometimes at a bar conference, and be able to appear everywhere virtually.
The pandemic, I think, also, in addition to that, it's showing people that they can become part of the justice system. They can become part of this process. And that I think so many people shied away when they saw a subpoena, or they saw that they needed to go to jury duty, or they needed to come to a deposition and those types of things, that they really now, because so much is being done remotely, and the clerk in Miami-Dade County, and he's been on our In the Know program.
I saw that.
He's doing a great job reaching out and using this type of technology going forward. And actually, most of the research studies has shown the number of people that are participating as jurors has increased as well. So I think the technology and where we're going with it has been very, 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 beneficial. We just need to make sure that everybody is included in that technology. Right. And I know that's one area that I believe that you want to make sure as we go forward this year. We have diversity. We have people of all different types of backgrounds, sexual orientations, no matter what that may be, to be inclusive and talk about that importance for you.
Absolutely. So it obviously, I'm the first Black woman to hold this role, because in the 108-year history of the Bar Association, although it is incredibly a long outreach, long-standing history, real tradition that's in the bar, they simply did not have the diversity to reflect the Miami-Dade County community. And thankfully, there's always been people that are part of the bar who wanted to change that. I was specifically encouraged to run and told that I would be supported, and felt the support when I got in line to run. And being in this position now has made me want to increase that outreach, wanting to only reach further and to make sure that everyone's voice is present in the bar. So for the people who have said before that diversity was an impediment or a reason why they were concerned about getting involved with the bar or had some apprehension about getting involved, I encourage them, now's the time to reach out. Now's the time to get involved. If there's something in the bar that you don't see that you want to see, come out. One of the areas that we had long been criticized for not including was government and public interest attorneys. There's a feeling sometimes that bar associations cater to big firms, people who have the time and the money to spend on public service. Well, that sort of defeats the purpose of public service if the people that you're reaching out to are people to whom you cannot relate. So we've made sure that there's a room in the bar for government attorneys, public interest attorneys that will accommodate. If you need us to make time for it, if you need us to make any other accommodations to include you, we're happy to do that at the Miami-Dade Bar and do it on a regular basis. So we have a government committee, we have a public interest committee, we have all sorts of committees that are coming up, including an aviation committee and our transportation committee, that we want to encourage people who have never been involved with the bar before, come home to the Miami-Dade Bar and get involved.
And I've been talking with you, okay, and going like, our veterans.
Veterans, absolutely another area. So there's a big elder law section in the Florida Bar. We have an elder law committee, but we wanted something a little more targeted. And veterans is such a large and underserved area of Miami-Dade County, right? My father's a veteran, my mother's a veteran. This is an area that we wanted people to be able to come in to be included in because, again, these are people whose lives are increasingly touched by the law and who sometimes don't have that legal background or access to an attorney. Join our Veterans Committee. Get involved. This is an opportunity to not only serve veterans with what they need currently, but to be able to reach out to them and help and improve their life overall. That's what we want for the Miami-Dade County.
Well, thanks to your parents for their service.
Thank you.
And what branches of the service?
They are both in the Air Force. We're in the Air Force. 22 years my dad served.
There we go. Now we know all about your brilliance and its initiation and where all of that comes from. So there we go. Off to the wild blue yonder we go.
Right.
Perfect. Speaking of that, tell me about your journey and how you ended up here today at the Florida Bar Convention as the president of the Miami-Dade Bar. And I'm sure that there were some obstacles, hurdles, some tearful moments all along that way. But tell us how you got here.
I am originally from Baltimore, Maryland, where I lived and where I was a very soft-spoken, shy, scared of her own shadow kind of child. Never wanted to do any public speaking. If you hear I speak with a lisp that people immediately point out when I talk, didn't think I'd ever be able to say anything publicly. I later moved to the Panhandle, and seeing Florida and the contrast between Florida and Baltimore it's stark. It's night and day. Florida is literally brighter, sunnier. It felt more welcoming. I moved to Miami initially to Broward County and started to go to college at FIU. That was so many years ago. I graduated FIU in 2004. Loved my experience there. Panthers for life. Loved my experience at FIU. Wonderful people, such an encouraging environment there. It wasn't until my junior year of college that I decided to go to law school and begin to look at law schools. It really did seem like an opportunity to help people. Again, I still had no interest in public speaking. I was still afraid to talk out loud and in front of people. And that came, of course, with time and with practice. So I got the opportunity. I got a scholarship to Mercer School of Law, which is in Macon, Georgia. I'd never been to Macon, Georgia. It sounded like a terribly small place. I got there and met people who are still today some of my best friends. Had a wonderful time there, a great beginning to my law journey. Ended up practicing in Atlanta for 5 years doing labor and employment, and then got the opportunity to come back to Miami. Came back to Miami, eventually joined Zurich in their South Broward office, and have just sort of taken off from there. My history in Miami has been, I always joke that it's been the land of milk and honey for me. Every opportunity that I've sought in Miami has come to fruition. There's always been people reaching out with support, you included, just a true helping hand throughout. I've loved my experience here. I'm so happy to represent the people of Miami-Dade County, to give back even a small portion of what they've given me.
I'm very proud of you, 1,000%. Is there anything that you wanted to convey that we need to get out there for our residents in Miami-Dade about assistance they need or other things along those lines? I certainly want you to have every opportunity to
I
discuss
cannot
that.
say enough about reaching out to the Miami-Dade Bar. Get the opportunity to know your bar members, not just the president, but the rest of the board members. These are people that are out in the community regularly. They live and work and play throughout Miami-Dade County. Get to know who the Miami-Dade Bar is and find out how you can contribute and how we can help you. It should be a symbiotic relationship between the bar and the members of the bar and the members of the community. We work with business owners, we work with commissioners, mayors throughout the county. We want those relationships with the people throughout the county, and we're hoping that they want that relationship with us.
Is there a contact number or email or some website, or where do you want people to go?
Website, absolutely. Come to the website, miamidadebar.com. We're happy to have you there. You'll be able to reach out to me directly. My contact is on that website. And anything else that you need, you can submit there. And we're waiting for you.
Okay. Well, you go with your bad self. Thank you for spending your time with us.
Thank you.
And for those of you who need that assistance, reach out on the website. Don't hesitate to think that if you need a lawyer, but you're hesitant to talk to a lawyer, that as you can tell, the president's a very, very, very friendly attorney. There we go.
Absolutely.
Okay, thanks for being with us on In the Know, and we'll see you next time.